Why do we seek approval? To avoid our deep-rooted fears of being rejected, found unworthy, or abandoned. Approval in this context means that someone likes you, thinks you're smart, interesting, competent, a good person, or finds you compelling. The opposite of this feels like they are rejecting you. Acknowledge that you have approval-seeking behaviors. Don't lie to yourself about this. I'm sure we've all heard people say that they don't care about what people think, and I'm sure you've probably said that as well. Although that's partially the case, it's also partially true that we have a lot of subconscious patterns that are designed to seek approval and try and get validation. Basically, it implies that we really care about what other people think about us. And as humans, we have needs to get our belongingness met, our sense of community met, our sense of connectedness to other people met, and of course, seeking approval is a way that we go about getting these needs met. It's very counterintuitive because we would assume that by seeking approval, we would get these needs met, but it ends up being quite the opposite. By being authentic, by actually being grounded in who you are, by caring about your own needs, by caring about your own health, by caring about your own boundaries, this makes you far more attractive. So you subconsciously search for signs of approval and in most cases aren't aware that you're doing it. Ironically, the desperate subconscious desire for others' approval creates the behaviors that actually make people less drawn to you. So I want you to think about a situation in your life where someone was trying to get validation or approval from you. And I want you to notice that you just immediately sensed that it was off. You can't hide this behavior. Other people feel it. When you let go of the constant need for belongingness and approval, others will experience you as more grounded. So when you're searching for validation and approval, really, there's a sense of fear and underlying anxiety that is controlling this behavior. And we're just kind of afraid of losing something, losing love from a significant other, getting fired from our job because our employer doesn't like our work, or basically any sort of loss of love or something that relates to getting a need met. So notice yourself looking for signs of approval. Notice yourself looking for smiles, agreements, engagement, positivity, reassurance, etc. Notice this in all situations, even mundane ones such as with the checkout clerk at the grocery store. Notice yourself when you're being too friendly, wanting people to approve of your performance at work, or want others to be attracted to you. So there's 3 places I want you to look. I want you to notice your relationships to people at your workplace, maybe a manager, or anyone who's like a higher up, an employer, and how you act around them. Your relationship to people who you are sexually attracted to, a significant other or a potential significant other, and your relationship to your parents. All of these are very important because what they have in common is these are places where you get needs met. And these are also places where you're most likely to sacrifice the things that are the most authentic to you in favor of pleasing someone else. So a perfect example of, let's say for your parents, is a lot of kids go to school, they don't really like it, and they do it to please their parents, okay? It's like a very common one. Or they just like suppress their natural beliefs because it goes against the beliefs of the house that they grow up in or grew up in. A good one for your significant other is like not having strong boundaries, or maybe they're doing something that's bothering you and you don't say it because you don't want to rock the boat, bother them, and you're afraid that they'll get reactive or mad and like leave the relationship. Or for your boss at work, let's say they ask you to, stay an extra hour late or fulfill some kind of role that you don't feel comfortable doing, and you don't reject it. You don't reject what they're saying. You don't tell them no. Basically just a problem with your boundaries and not caring about your needs. But really, these are all prime examples of you seeking validation in ways that can be rationalized as like you being just a nice giving person, or you just being so hardworking at work. There's a lot of ways to rationalize this behavior, but deep down, you're just seeking approval and you're too scared to do what is actually meaningful to you because you're too afraid about what other people are thinking. So when you're actually talking to someone, be aware of the fact that you are seeking approval. Every single time you're talking to someone, this subconscious mechanism of needing approval actually automatically comes up. In every conversation, it's there. So as you become more self-aware and notice yourself doing these things, you can then begin to stop. Become aware of yourself doing them in the moment. This will reduce your need to look for and receive signs of validation. I'm not just saying need less validation from others. that is too general. Rather, I'm saying to simply notice yourself seeking a sign of approval in this specific conversation with this specific person. So when you're actually talking to someone, notice that you are looking for signs of validation, become aware of it in real time, and just this alone is already enough to begin to shift you out of this pattern. And the reason why this is so important is because this pattern is never going to end. This pattern will play out for the rest of your life until you die, basically, unless you are honest about the fact that it exists within you, because it does, and you become aware of it, and then you change it. That's what you got to do. Honesty, awareness, then change. And that's how you actually just begin to break this pattern. And like I said, within every single interaction, it arises. These sort of social programs, these social systems that exist within you just kind of automatically come up, and it starts to change your behavior so that you can get approval, status, recognition, love, basically, some form of love. And there's nothing bad or wrong about this behavior. Like, it's not like bad. You shouldn't be ashamed of it. The problem is that if you want to have the most meaningful and authentic connections, this isn't going to work. It's just as simple as that. Like, if you want the deepest connections that fit the best for you, this behavior won't work. And you need to acknowledge it and begin to change it, because you don't want to do that for the rest of your life. So now I want to teach you the solution to seeking validation, and that is by actually self-validating. So learn to self-validate by increasing self-awareness and practicing meditation, pursuing what excites you, self-actualizing and raising consciousness, exercising and eating healthy, actively practicing to stop people-pleasing, setting boundaries with other people. What these 6 points have in common is that they all value your health. They value getting needs met, having strong boundaries, being grounded within yourself, being more aware, and basically doing things that make you feel healthy, energized, sharp, and alive, and in touch with yourself. These are the keys to actually self-validating. You need to actually become aware of your tendencies to seek approval and validation and begin to stop them and remove that with self-validation, with being grounded within yourself. And it's really powerful to actually practice doing this in conversations. This doesn't mean like, oh, I don't care about what other people think and like you're an asshole. No, that's not what this is. It's just about having a sense of groundedness within yourself and not bending over backwards for people when you shouldn't be and when you're not capable of it, and just expressing like, your needs, saying no when you should, or just rejecting certain things, or just like quitting certain things that don't resonate with you because you're just doing them out of wanting to please someone. These are all really important, and they exist within you. You need to be very honest about the fact that they exist. So I have one-to-one coaching you can actually apply and book. Link in the description. I also have a self-awareness worksheet which helps to do a lot of the stuff. You can check out the relationships section of that. Really, the whole thing is really good for this. But the relationships and the life direction section are very powerful for this exact thing. I also have my free book list. I highly recommend checking that out as well. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. But other than that, take it easy.